about your cat or your dog, depending. Mostly the cat will jump up to the higher grounds or higher area of the house. Like this cat here is like you stand on the railing. You has to be careful when the stove comes on that when we take all the things off and the rags off and put wood in the fire on the winter, that the cat doesn't go too close to the stove. Sometimes the cat goes on top like that, but the stove is very low. The heat of the wood stove is very low, but still, you gotta watch out for the cats that they don't go on the wood stove when it's on in the winter, because they can get burned. But they don't. They just go close enough to get warm. Today, I would like to make this video about the cat. The cat likes to go in higher places, like I already repeated before. They like to go on top of tabletops, near the wood stove, like the railing by the wood stove. They go on top of the refrigerator. But most of all, you have to watch out for the electrical stove. The electric stove, see if I can put it on for you. I'm going to put the stove on for you right here. It comes on, and it gets very, very hot. You see it? If I put my hands there, you can see it turn. Not only do you see it turning reddish, but you put your hands up here, you can feel the heat. Now, what happens when you turn the stove off? No more red color, no more heat. But there's the trick. The heat is still there, just not the color. So you still have some kind of heat here. And if you go to the indicator here, you'll see that the stove here was on. See it? So it is on, and that's cooling down, little by little. Now what happens? When the cats go on top of the electric stove top, they don't see the light or acknowledge this light. They don't. And they put their paws or the pads of their paws, and they walk on top of the heated part that was on, which is right here. But it's still hot, but not as hot as before. And it will burn their pads. So let's try it again. I turn the stove on, and there's the red color, and there's the heat. Now I turned it off, and the reddish color is off. It's like it was never on, but the heat is still on. Put your hands there, you can feel the heat. And the indicator has told me that it's been on. Now what happens when this happens, when you close we shut off the heat? There's no color, but still heat. So the cat will go on top of the stove and walk on top of it. He'll sense some kind of heat somewhere, but he cannot see the heat, the reddish color. And let's say that the heat goes down little by little, but it's still hot. Even hot, even lower. The cat will jump on top of the stove top and burn its little paws. So be careful with your cats if you have an electrical stove top, because the cats will burn their paws. Okay, remember that. You're not going to see the red of the heat, the redness of the heat, but of the coil or the coil, lighting up. But the heat will still be on there. The only way for anybody to know it's been on is to put their hands there, or to look at the indicator. But cats do not look at the indicator. They have to go by here. So if the heat is lower and lower, but almost going out, let's say you turned it off about 10 minutes ago, and there's still less heat, so I can put my hands lower if I want to. Okay, because the heat's going down. The cat doesn't know that. He should see the coil lighting up, and the cat will go on top of it and walk on it and burn its paws. So be careful with the cat. Now, dogs like to stay down, but sometimes you never know. Depends on the kind of dog you have, but dogs like to stay at the floor level. I got a few dogs that they will on top of the stove, jump on top of the stove, but the cat does go on top of the stove. This stove is the electrical range, electrical stove top. So be careful with your cat. All right? See, it's still hot. That's it, but it's very low. I can put my hands lower now, but it's still hot. But the cat doesn't see that. He doesn't read it. He doesn't look at the color here. And he goes on top of the stove and burns his paws or his pads of his paws. You get my point? So be careful. That's very dangerous for the cat. All right? I'm making this video to let you know. It's very dangerous. All right? Okay. Have a good day. Bye-bye.